Uh, Hello, dear aspirants. I'm Dr. Kulwant Singh, and I'll be taking up uh, your English portion of your CLAT paper. And I have an experience of around 12 years in teaching. And today, uh, before I begin with a particular topic, I'll just like to discuss or give you an overview of how the paper is. Now, I'm sure many of you must have, gone through the previous year papers of CLAT, or you are aware of the syllabus that is covered in English. Okay. Now, in that English portion, you would simply find a comprehension passage with some MCQ answers, and you have to select the right answer. But now, at times it appears to be easy. I wouldn't say it is difficult, but it's all about the technique that is used to solve. Okay, because you would find almost all the answers quite similar. You would find them that okay, you will surely get confused about which one is the right answer at times. So there are many things that need to be taken care of when we are going through that passage. Okay, we have to focus on the author, okay, his technique of writing, the way he is using the sentences. Now uh, let's go to the past. You all are aware of the parts of speech which we have been studying from your school times, and it's just about that before we come to the comprehension passage. Okay, we need to brush up with some of those techniques, those parts of speech, those parts of English language which comprise your passage. Okay, now if you have a look at any of the passages, you would find many things out there. The way a sentence has been written, okay, the kind of tone that the author uses, okay, the voice that the author is making use of, okay, whether the speech is direct or indirect. So all these things help you to, arrive at the arrive or in rather I would say infer or talk about the context, what the writer is trying to say. And these things facilitate us to arrive at the right answer. So the point here is that it is not merely a passage to be solved. We have to take care of many such things which are there when we look into the passage or when we read that passage. Okay. So we will be taking up those different aspects that are covered in the passage. That may include your active and passive voice, that may include your direct, indirect speech. It may also cover your tone. It may also cover uh, the different kinds of sentences, your tenses, how the sentence has been expressed. Then there is also the use of figures of speech, okay, that you all must have studied earlier. So in the course of your when we will be moving with your syllabus, we'll take care of each and everything, and I will take note that we brush up with everything that is there which is needed for you to solve a passage, that too within the stipulated time, because time is equally important when we are trying to solve a passage. We cannot afford to miss, if we want to score high or we want to crack the exam, we have to take care of the time as well for every section. So, alongside considering the time that we will be taking, we also have to brush up with some uh, knowledge of the basic English language or the parts of speech, or some tenses, active voice, passive voice, or direct indirect speech, maybe some figures of speech, so that they can assist us in solving those passages. Another thing, uh, why do we need to brush up with all these things? There is a reason. When we say it's a comprehension passage, means we have to comprehend certain things. Okay. Now, what do we have to comprehend? We have to focus on the language style. We have to focus on the kind of tone, the voice that the author has used, whether the author is trying to raise a question on certain thing, or whether he is trying to exclaim, or is he trying to suggest something. Okay, we also have to read between the lines. That is what we say in short, right? That is why a brushing up of all these different aspects of English language are needed before we come up to the passages. Okay, So, to begin with, I'll take up a very small topic with you, a very basic one, the sentences. Now, what does a sentence actually mean? Okay. Now, sentences are used to communicate something. So basically, they are a group of words, okay, that are meant to communicate an idea or maybe an emotion, okay, or any information that we need to convey. We have to do that through sentences. Okay. So depending on the kind of information that we need to convey, we have to choose or organize the group of words, organize those words in a manner that makes it, you know, that gives sense to that sentence or whatever we are trying to convey. Okay. So the information has to be conveyed with some sense so that the receiver, now the information could either be in a written form or it may be oral. In whatsoever manner we are doing, what we are basically doing in a sentence, we are organizing the sentence, okay, into, we are organizing those group of words in a manner that the correct meaning of a sentence can be conveyed, or the correct meaning of the information that is meant to be delivered, that is conveyed. So we can say that these sentences, now they are like the functional units of English language, okay, that convey a meaning, or you can say that convey a context. Fine. So what do these sentences do? They basically give structure, okay, they give meaning to something, to what something means, to our thoughts, okay, any ideas. So basically you can say that uh, that they can be the fundamental units of communication, okay, because without sentences, without making use of sentences, we cannot communicate. Okay, we just cannot make use of one or two words and then communicate. That may be the rarest of cases, but in general, we have to form sentences, we have to organize words to give them some meaning. Okay, so that is why, so the sentences form the basis of your communication. So when we talk about the types of sentences, uh, I've categorized them into four different categories. Okay, now how the information has to be conveyed, much would depend again on the type of sentence it is. Okay, accordingly we will categorize into, say, uh, if we talk about, if we simply have to pass an information, okay, or we have to simply state something, simply make a statement, okay, we'll cover up some example alongside. So when we simply we are making a statement, we would say that, okay, it's a declarative sentence. It is simply a sentence or a statement that is meant to inform something, that is meant to pass on some information. On the other side, there may be sentences that may require, that where we may be requesting something, or we may be passing on some instruction that something is to be done. Okay, so these kind of sentences, they are categorized into a different form, and that is how it continues. Okay, so sentences basically, they can be categorized into different types based on their structure and the function. Like, let us look at some common kinds of sentences. Okay. Now, one is the first one I would touch is the declarative sentence. We also call it an assertive sentence or even a statement. Now, what does it do? This is the most basic type of sentence that we make use of when we are trying to convey some information to someone. Okay. So, uh, it's a very simple kind of a sentence. If you look at the examples given here, it's simply a statement, I am a teacher. Okay. It is simply conveying something, conveying some information. Then, if you look at the next one, there is a white palace. Okay, fine. Again, some information. We cannot find anything apart from a basic information being conveyed in this kind of a sentence, right? Then, another example, the cat is sleeping on the sofa. Again, some sort of information is being passed over to the person, to the reader or to the listener, whosoever it may be. Fine. That becomes your declarative sentence. It is basically the most basic form of sentence that we make use of when we are, you know, organizing words or trying to convey something in a very simple manner. So we also call it a statement. And after this declarative sentence, now one thing more that needs to be taken care of is that which you all have already been taught in your previous classes earlier in your school times, that a declarative sentence, it always ends with a full stop. Okay. Now, then coming to the interrogative type of sentences. Now, this word interrogative, uh, in your legal academics, you're going to come across this word interrogate, interrogative a number of times. Okay, so you need to understand what does it imply. Now, interrogative sentence, it means when you are uh, supposed to ask some questions or some question has been asked to you. बताइएगा जब शुरू कर आ लीजिएगा question. Okay. So, then coming to the next category of sentences, that is the interrogative type of sentence. what do we find? That interrogative means or interrogation means putting up some questions or asking some questions, right? So when we are putting up some questions, okay, so they could be of any type. I'll just give you an example here that is there available on the screen. Why are you going there? Okay, it's a question. Or look at the next example, question, and of course, they are followed with a question mark. So that in itself is an indication that it's an interrogative sentence where there is a question that is being put up for which an answer is to be given, okay, or an answer is being sought for such questions. Then the next category of sentences that we can talk about is the imperative sentence. Now, these sentences, now they are used for either some sort of a command or for maybe some request or a piece of advice or suggestion or anything. They can be in any form like say a direct order, okay, or it could be a general advice or maybe some request. Now, if you look at the examples that are given here, look like, please give me a glass of water. Okay. Now, which word over here we feel indicates that it's an imperative sentence, or how do we consider this sentence as? Do we consider it as an advice? Do we consider it as a command, or do we consider it as a request? Okay, so this word please in itself gives an idea that it is a request that is being made up, that please give me a glass of water. Take up the next sentence. Now, since this imperative sentence, it contains a variety of, uh, you know, uh, aspects, like there could be an order, command, request, suggestion, whatsoever. So we have to have to be careful about what does it mean. Like pick up the garbage when you go. Now, what can this imply? Okay, for some it may appear to be a command, but this is simply a suggestion or an advice that is being given that the garbage has to be picked up when one leaves. Then shut the door. Okay. Now, if even if you look at the tones, this now is not only that once you are simply stating something, okay, in an oral form, it is also that uh, when you are writing, your style of writing, the words that you are making choice of, or the words that you are choosing in your sentences, even they indicate the kind of sentence that they are. Whether you are making a request, so this word please in the first sentence, now that indicates a request. Okay, so similarly here, it's a suggestion or an advice which one needs to follow. Then shut the door. Now, can we feel that there is some sort of a request over here? No. So, shut the door, it simply implies an order or a command that the door needs to be shut, right? So, look at the language of the kind of words that have been used. They in itself are indicative of the kind of sentence that it is. Okay? We'll be taking up some more examples after this for your practice. Then the next we have is a exclamatory sentence. Now, what happens? At times when, say, we are overjoyed, or there is a feeling of joy in us, or there's a joyous kind of an atmosphere, we try to, we just show our emotions. We express our emotions in different forms. Like we say, wow, what a scenery. Okay. Ah, what a relief. Something like that. Okay. So, uh, this kind of a sentence, it is actually used to express a sudden strong feeling or maybe an emotion. And this kind of a sentence, it always ends with a exclamation mark. Okay. It carries an exclamation mark with it. At times, the position of the mark may vary. Okay. So it is like similar to something like the declarative statement that we have studied, but that exclamation mark, that exclamation point, it gives you an idea that yes, it's an exclamatory sentence. If you look at these examples, hooray, India won the match. Okay. Now, had it simply been India won the match, okay, it would have simply been a statement or a declarative sentence. But the adding of this word alongside, now this expresses some joy, some emotion, okay? And uh, now when it carries an exclamation mark with it, this means that it's an exclamatory sentence. Then the next one, wow, how good this is. Again, we can say okay, that there is a sense of joy or some sort of an excitement, okay, or uh, showing off some sort of emotions. Okay, now that makes it an exclamatory sentence, right? Okay, after this, look at the next example. How beautifully she has drawn the painting. Again, okay, something remarkable has been done. You're surprised to see it, or I mean, something that is incredible, okay, hard to believe. So again, it carries an exclamation. Right? So they are exclaiming something. Okay, so this is what this mark or the way that idea has been expressed, the emotion has been expressed, that actually makes a difference between the exclamation sentence and a declaratory sentence or a declarative sentence. Fine. Now we have some examples alongside. Can before we take up some practice kind of sentences. So the idea is that one needs to select the right type of okay. Say to communicate information when you are simply communicating simply conveying an idea, okay, one has to make use of a tense. Okay. When you are raising a question or you have a query, it has to be an interrogative sentence, meaning it must carry mark alongside. Then what? If you are telling someone to do something, it could be in either form, a request or a suggestion, or you can say that it may be a command. Fine, and we have to make imperatives. So these aspects, okay, they make it an imperative sentence. And lastly, when you are expressing your feelings or some sort of emotions, again, what happens that sorry, you can use symmetries. That is how it is supposed to be. Now, let's take up these sentences and try to identify into which category of sentences do they fall. Okay, the sentences are quite simple and easy for you all to recognize and identify. First one, like, do you drink juice daily? Okay. Now, even if you are not looking at the sentence, the way I am communicating it to you, my tone, my tone in itself is carrying a question mark, which is not visible. Okay. Even if someone is asking you a question, okay, everything may not be in the written form. We come to know that yes, a question is being asked or a query has been raised to me, which I need to answer. Right? So, do you drink juice daily? Of course, then it's an interrogative sentence. A question mark is there. This in itself is indicative of the fact that okay, it's an interrogative sentence. Then look at the next sentence. Stars are twinkling in the sky. Now, this is either a request or is it a command? Do we find any sort of suggestion in this? Nothing. It is simply a statement that is being conveyed. Okay. So this comes in the category of a declarative sentence. Then we have, what a lovely garden. Now we see a sudden flow of emotions, or we are surprised, or we are overjoyed seeing something that we may not have seen earlier. Okay, so we make use of exclamation mark. That becomes your exclamatory sentence. Then look at the fourth one. Let us go for a cricket match. Now, what can this indicate? Is it simply a declarative sentence? Is it simply a statement that we are making? Or does it imply something else? If we reread it, many of us might feel that it is simply a but we have to focus on the words that have been used. Focus on the word let over here. Okay. Let us go for a cricket match. That indicates that suggestion that we can do this. Okay. It's not a request or a command, but suggestion. So this becomes an imperative kind of a sentence. So that is what my idea of telling was, that when we are reading a comprehension passage, we will have to focus on the words and the sentences, how they have been used, how the words have been used, so as to get a clear idea of what the author or the writer is convey. Okay, so small words like let, okay, they convey or they give us an idea, they provide a clue as to the kind of sentence that is there. Let's take the next one. Okay, where has she gone? Okay. Now again, something is being asked. There is a question over here. Where has she gone? For which an answer is needed. So simple to understand that it's interrogative thing. Then what about the next one? Call in the doctor, please. Okay. Now many may again put it into category of a declarative sentence. But if we reread the sentence, we again have to focus on a particular word that provides us a clue as to the category of the sentence where it should fit in. Okay, so what do we say? Call in the doctor, please. Now, this word please, it indicates a request. So, when we are requesting something, it comes in the category of an imperative sentence. So, we say, okay, that it's an imperative sentence because something is being requested for. We are telling someone, or we are requesting someone to do. Okay. Look at the next sentence. Kindly lend me some money. What about this? What kind of a sentence do we find this? Can it be an declaratory sentence, or can it be an interrogative sentence, or do we find something exclamatory over here, or something imperative? So again, focusing on the clues, on the words that have been used. Okay, focus on the word kindly. Again, it would fall in the category imperatives. Right? Then come to the next one. I like this flower. Okay, so there is no sort of a suggestion or a request or command or any sort of question over here. It's simply a statement or some information that is being conveyed by me, the other person. So this becomes your assertive or tense. Look at the next one. Wow, what a beautiful scenery. So when I say wow, again, there is an expression of emotion, expression of some feelings out of excitement or something we find quite different, something that we have not witnessed earlier. So automatically that sense of emotion, uh, you know, it it appears on our face also. Alongside, when we make use of words, we tend to make automatically we make use of words. Wow, it was a beautiful scene. You are sharing your experience with someone. Okay, automatically you will make use of this. So the use of this mark and the use of word wow, it indicates that it's an affirmative sentence. Okay, then uh, you have played bravely. Now, again, it is a very simple kind of a statement, a declaratory sentence where you don't find any suggestion or an order or like that. It's simply a statement that is being. Now, did she dance well? Again, a question. Okay, someone is asking you a question, or I am being asked a question. Did she dance well? So I need to answer this. So with this uh, question mark, this interrogative or this question mark over here, this in itself indicates that it's interrogative sentence. Moving ahead to the next sentence, which road goes out? Again, I'm asking someone, I'm raising a query, I'm asking someone about the direction. I have to move out to some particular direction. Okay, so I'm asking someone. There is a query that is there. So that indicates another interrogative sentence. Which road goes out? Right? Then this is my house. A very simple form of statement, a declarative sentence. Then they are my parents. Again, a simple form of statement, a declarative statement. Then we have the last sentence. Come home as soon as you finish the dance practice. Now, what does this indicate? Is it a simple statement or a declaration, or is it a kind of a question that is being asked, or is there any sort of expression of emotions? No. Okay. So it's like an instruction. It's like a command. It's an order being given to someone that come home as soon as you finish dance practice. An order. So the choice of words that we make use of in a sentence, they indicate that which category a sentence belongs to, or how we can identify these sentences. So for today's session, I feel I've tried to be very simple in my choice of words and the choice of sentences and the examples that I make it clear to you as to how to identify the different kinds of. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. Have a great